Welcome to Knife Reviews. I'm your host Joshua Hightower, and this is my partner Evan Hightower.
Hey!
Before we start our knife review for today, I just want to remind you we have two giveaways. One is a custom handled ferro rod that I'll be giving away to a random member of our YouTube subscribers. Once we hit 100, we'll do that. And then on our Facebook group, when we hit 1,000, we're going to give away a Mora 511 to a random member of the 1,000 likes. And we will be doing a video kind of halfway through the week of the diving sparrow mako shark. It's kind of in that machete class, so we'll be doing that midweek. It'll be a little bit shorter video just to show you what it can do. Today we are doing the OKC Blackbird SK5.
The Blackbird SK5 is 10 inches overall length with a 5-inch cutting blade. It is a full flat grind, full tang design, linen micarta handles, has a drop point.
The knife handle on this blade is much like the Essie knives, where it's flat. And I'm not a huge fan of that because it tends to give you hot spots in your hand because it's got those squared edges because it is flat. If it had been contoured just a little bit, I think it'd be a much more comfortable knife. As is, it's not terribly uncomfortable. I'm just not a huge fan of flat handles. As always, with all of our bushcraft knives, we go through 5 categories: chopping, batoning, cutting, feather sticking, spine scraping, and ferro rod usage. We're going to get right into chopping. This is a 3-inch diameter red cedar. As you can see, it chopped through that 3-inch piece of cedar fairly well. No nicks or dings in it. And as always, we want to test our blade integrity, make sure it keeps an edge.
Yeah. Which one?
After we get done chopping. As I've found with many bushcraft knives that have this protruding end down here, you're able to hook onto it with 1 or 2 fingers, which allows you to chop with a much safer grip and get more swing in it, more strength in your swing. So choking back absolutely helps on your chopping, and that allows for a very good grip.
Nice.
So we'll get straight into our batoning. So we're putting quite a bit of pressure on it when we baton at an angle. It's actually, what you're doing is you're batoning at it at an angle, which is putting cross pressure on it. that means that if there was a weakness in the blade, that it would bend. Obviously this knife is not bent at all. Very sturdy design. As with any full flat knife, the chopping batoning is not going to be the #1 category that it's going to excel at. It should excel more on any cutting tasks. But for chopping and batoning, I found it to be quite adequate. Something that you could use in a pinch if you needed it to. So for chopping and batoning, we're going to give this an 8 out of 10 on our scale.
That is cool.
The next category that we want to go over for the SK5 is cutting.
Cutting.
So if you're into friction fire, obviously your knife has to be able to make your set, whether it's a bow drill or hand drill. This has to be able to make all the cuts that you would want, and processing it down from raw wood into a spindle works quite well. So we're going to go right into the rope test to see how it does.
Wow, nice. Hey, I'm gonna take it.
Stand right
I want to hold this. Nice sock. Whoa. Another one. Nope. Go cut them. Oh, done. Then we can't cut. My rope can't do it. My knife can't do it.
So it had a little bit of trouble cutting through the rope by pulling through it, but keep in mind this is a very tightly wound multiple strand cotton rope, so they're very hard to cut through, but all in all it was able to cut through all the wood that we wanted and the rope. Flick cutting, it can cut well in all the positions comfortably. On cutting, we're going to give the SK5 an 8 out of 10. Next category that we want to go over with the SK5 is feather sticking. As you can see, it feather sticks quite well. I have no doubt that you'd be able to create a lot of fire extender and tinder when you're trying to get your fire going. So for feather sticking, we're going to give this a 9 out of 10. I am finding though that the square handle can create some hot spots on your hand, which it has been doing to me, and it has a lot to do with this flat square micarta handles that are on it. Next category that we're going to go over is spine scraping with the SK5. As you can see, not only is it scraping the bark off, but it's creating what we want it to be when it comes off, fluff. That fluff is what's going to catch a spark. So as you can see, it's doing exactly what we needed to do when you're scraping the spine, and that's create fluff off the wood and fluff from the bark, giving you the optimal resources that you need to catch a spark and thus create your fire. So for spine scraping, we're going to give this a 9 out of 10. The last category that we're going to go over is ferro rod usage. As you can see, it's throwing a lot of sparks. So we're going to see if we can get our shavings just a little bit to flame up.
It's the stem already. It's spurs already. It's the stem.
For a price point that's right around $125, maybe a little less if you can find it on Amazon, I think that's a very decent knife. If you're interested in this knife, I would absolutely give it a go-ahead on the usefulness. It's a knife that I know that you could take into the woods and do all of the things that you want to do. You can do it with this knife. You're not going to break it. You're not going to make it go dull after one use. It's going to cut, it's going to baton, it's going to chop, it's going to do everything you need. Very, very competent knife, especially in that $125 price point. Like I said, the only knock, it's that square handle, which is very prominent on all of the OKC knives. Join us on Facebook at Knife Reviews. We'd appreciate you going on there and liking it. You would also really appreciate you going to our YouTube page, which is Knife Reviews. If you can go subscribe it, we'd appreciate that. You can go and watch all of our other videos. Give us any of the comments that you might have. We always appreciate to have any comments, any questions, any concerns. Let us know. If you have any questions, you can also email us at knives@knifereviews.us. We really do appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Be safe and God bless.
Bye-bye.